Hi, it's Kim and welcome to the channel today. Today I'm going to take you on what I thought might be a plant haul, but didn't turn out that way. There's too slim a pickings out there in July and just overall during this virus episode. But we went up there to look for a sink for the laundry room, but my husband went off to the tool department, so I said I'm heading over to the plants. It's a little dark until I get out into the sunlight, but I wanted to show you exactly what I ran across, and it wasn't much. Now, right here in the beginning, there are some nice looking plants. It says they're gardenias, and gardenias as a standard are a beautiful plant, I agree, but I don't have a greenhouse. These would have to go inside during the wintertime coming up here, so it's not something I could buy. If it was in early spring for a reasonable price, I might. But those are for, is it 9 and 11 zones, and I'm in 6, so it would just die over the winter for me. Some of them are looking a little bad shape. A lot of weeds growing in the base, and I'm quite sure there'd be a lot of fungus gnats there, so it's not something I'd be interested. There's some pretty hydrangeas over there that are a little overblown. Now that's an annual also for us here. Now the Heuchera, have many of the Heuchera at mine. Coral bells, they're easy to grow in Ohio, and they're a perennial that would just come back every year. You just cut them back to the ground basically, and they will grow all fresh and pretty. I love all the different varieties of colors and the little stained glass window effect on the leaves. They're just a gorgeous plant. But I have bought quite a few of those already. Some of the unusual. That looks like sedum tricolor, but I'm not sure. It was real strung out, not getting enough sun. And most of these are not labeled, not even with prices. So I don't even know what that particularly is for sure. But the coral bells didn't look too bad overall. Now that Falspirea, that looks pretty. And again, those gorgeous coral bells. I could do with more of those, but I need to hold back. I've got about 8 more of those so far this year, and I definitely don't need to get any more. Most of mine are the Palace Purple, but you've seen those in other videos. Now I do like Bugle Weed. This is the chocolate chip variety. I don't have any of the chocolate chip. I don't think it's as pretty as the just Ajuga reptans that I have a lot of. It has a little bit bigger leaves and spreads a little differently. So maybe one of these times, perhaps in the spring, I'll try that. And this was not labeled, but it looks just like my bird of paradise, so I'm going to assume it is a bird of paradise. Grows from the bottom exactly the same like that. These leaves look the same. My bird of paradise has not flowered up to this time, but this looks like a really good one. Now over here is some bedraggled looking hydrangea. It looks like they have very pretty blooms and everything, but these must be those pretty pots that they have early in the spring that just, I don't know, get a little worse for the wear. And at $21.88, that's not low enough for me to even try to get one if I even was in the market to get one. They'd have to be marked down at least half price. And it appears here at this Menard's, is where I'm at, is just not reducing their plants by very much. Now the Eugenia is really pretty. I like that topiary that it's in. I cannot bring that in for the winter. I just don't have the room for it. So, pretty plant, but it's not for my zone, at least not to stay outside. More of those bedraggled hydrangeas and some ferns in really bad shape. I don't think I want those. Don't even know the price they're asking. And now outside is the stone, the brickwork, the pots, soil bags and everything, and a lot of shrubs and trees mostly. I was hoping to find some succulents on markdown, but that wasn't going to happen this trip. And there were only a very few things I was tempted by. Now, these are labeled as blooming tropical shrub. I hate that. I like to know what it is. And I should recognize that. Its leaves look familiar, but I don't know the name of it. If you know the name of it, put it down in our comments box and help maybe some new gardeners. Tell them a little bit about that plant in case they'd want to get one on a markdown table. Now, of course, the sedum Angelina, I know that like the back of my hand. Now, there's no price, but you can tell it needs some sun. If you've got a little Angelina, you've got a lot, because you can pinch off every one of those little tips and they'll grow where you want them. So if that's something you'd like to start, either find a gardener who's got some, let them, if they'll allow you, just to pinch and prune, and then you'll have a blue million of it. It's a gorgeous plant. Now these premium perennials, Salvia, they look pretty bad. The Salvia does get a little bit bedraggled even in the ground to me late in the year, but I'm not interested in more Salvia. The Mandevilla is really, really gorgeous, but again, it wouldn't survive an Ohio winter, and I'm definitely not going to pay $44 for the few weeks, 6 weeks or so that are left before that would be killed by a frost. We can most of this time expect a frost here in Ohio if not mid-September, late September, and the way the year's been going with us having a freeze in mid-May, I wouldn't risk it. One day maybe I'll get that greenhouse that I've always been wanting. Now I've had the daylilies. Daylilies I'm not real fond of, so I'll just skip over those. Now on down here you can see how many empty shelves they have. It's really few and far between. That's a little bit of Russian sage. I think that one looks like a foxglove. I'm not sure. But this Russian sage is pretty. I've had it before, and it really needs full sun. It needs to grow straight up and pretty. It needs to grow sturdy in a lot of sun. And that's where you have the prettiest bushes. And then here in Ohio, you have to cut it back, and then it'll grow again the next year. But that's a gorgeous plant, and it smells good too, just like sage. Now that's a weed tree. Don't know what tree that is, but it grows in my flower beds all the time, and I have to pull them out. Now the Estillbe doesn't look too bad, considering the rest of the shape of these plants, but I don't have any place to put it right now. Most of these plants will just be left to die because they really don't have them marked down enough. And no, I'm not interested in a half-dead mum. Even though that is a cheap price, I'd rather wait for the fall mums to come and then put them in the ground. More daylilies. They're pretty, but I have too many of those already, and I've been digging them up. Lots of pretty pots out there, but they were not priced. Have no idea. Now that's some better looking Russian sage. Now that Astilbe plant is pretty. I like that. It has a gorgeous bloom. The buds, I think, are the prettiest, even prettier than the bloom. But I like that plant a lot. Great for shade and comes back reliably each year. More of the trees are small bushes, but I'm not interested in more of those right now. Now, they don't have their potting soil marked down. These Estillbees and other plants just don't look good at all. $6.74. Doesn't even label what they are, but they look like an Astilbe. I'm not sure what that other one is. It looks perhaps like it might be a foxglove too. But those just, they're not tempting me. I hate to have go for a plant haul and not end up with anything, but really it's depressing what's out there. I may try a shopping trip at Lowe's and Home Depot and see what they have. Oh, I've had the Liatris. I like it. It's pretty when it's been in the sun and it's sturdy and upright and straight. These oak barrels, no. $42, down from $46. They've marked them down by $4. That's not enough. No. Okay, and here is a climbing hydrangea. It looks in really, really bad shape. It's kind of a large one. It's climbing pretty well, but it looks half dead already, and it's not the time that it should be looking like that, really. It's just probably too long confined to that pot. And I've had blue rug juniper. They're really nice, but every time I get one, I kill it. And for $21.88, to me, that's pretty high price for this area. I tried to get those to grow on the hill, but it just didn't work. Now down here are some more bushes and shrubbery. That's a 9-bark. I've got 9-bark Diablo, and I really like it. They have such a pretty bush. They have beautiful foliage, different colors, and a nice flower in the spring that just keeps changing into reds and different colors during the year. It's really nice. I love lilacs. I'm not familiar with that variety, but that's a pretty lilac bush, just kind of in bad shape. I guess the time is not to buy them when they're just spent in the fall like this. Well, it's not even fall yet. We're just late summer, not even into August. Now, I do think I might need to get another bale of peat moss so that I don't run out during the fall and over the winter time in case I decide to make more hypertufa, which I will. Now, these large bags of vermiculite, you don't run across those very often. I'm going to have to remember. These are 1.5 cubic feet of vermiculite, and it's real light. You can get it. I can lift this. Now, it's awkward, and I'm going to knock the whole pile down on me. I'll just have to set my camera down, and then I'll show you how easy they are to manipulate, because vermiculite is just so light. It's like air. I'll put my camera down and grab one off the top shelf and see, it's not very big, or very heavy, I should say. It's a big bag of it, but not very heavy at all. Let me show you. That says coarse vermiculite. That's the kind I like because it has a little bit bigger chunks. I like it. Decent price. I'm going to remember that next time I need some. Now, I'm going to have to head back toward the entrance. I have to show my husband I can go see plants without buying any. But I can't leave here empty-handed. I only got some little smellies, and here are some hose washers. I'll grab some hose washers for 99 cents. I can always hang those up on my little tool thing and have those when I need to replace them. Goodbye. Okay, well, let's go find him, and thanks for watching today. Sorry it wasn't a plant haul, but there's just nothing out there. It was pretty slim pickings. Oh, she got one of those. I bet she's got a greenhouse.